use her as a way to carry on the lineage of the family. So she decides to deceive him. She takes his articles, uses some later evidence to prove that he's the father. She's called righteous, more righteous than he is because of what she's done. Interesting story. Nonetheless, it's a pretty scandalous situation. Some call it that way. Anyway, we have Rahab, who, if we believe it's Rahab the prostitute, well, there you have it. Ruth the Moabite, she's a Moabite, first off. Secondly, she is seen seducing Boaz. And then there's Bathsheba, wife to Uriah the Hittite, seduced by David, becomes an adulteress. It's interesting that out of the four women he mentions, each one of them has got what some might call, kind of a scandalous background. 2 prostitutes, and then 2 seduce. One who is seduced, one who seduces. So here we go, we have that. And I think that really the reason that Matthew put these 4 women in, and why, from the perspective of this being Rahab the prostitute, is that I believe it prepares the readers to be introduced to Mary, who is going to have a similar, somewhat scandalous kind of situation, a story, in that she becomes pregnant without actually having sexual relations. Maybe perhaps to show that even amidst what some would call ridiculous, that God does work. How often does the scriptures talk about that the wise, the ones who think that they're intelligent, are humbled by God, because even in his ability to control things, to do things, he does things intentionally to humble them, to show them that not their way of being intelligent is the only way that God can work and do things. If you were God, would you have chosen, perhaps, if you had the ability to decide who you would choose, would you have chosen Rahab as to be someone you were going to use to further your story? Some perhaps not. But God chose to, and I think it's encouraging. I think there's a lot we can learn from her. I think what we can learn is to take your faith and to put it into action. Times of testing will come. Times will come when your talk is going to have to be put into action. As Paul puts it, let your life and doctrine have got to match up. It simply can't be one way or the other. It's like a plane. We talk about a plane without one of its wings is eventually going to go down. So we can learn that. We've learned that we should always keep our family in mind, not merely just look out for ourselves. Especially, that's a great lesson to teach our kids. Great lesson to teach our kids as they grow up to love the family, and that we should foster loving, caring, nurturing families. I doubt that her family was cruel and mean to her and hated her. Probably was love there, enough for her to even care about them. And we learned, in the end, that quite possibly God had a bigger plan, a bigger vision for Rahab than merely simply only hiding the spies, but that she was going to eventually be known as one of the many great-great-grandmothers of Jesus. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. I hope it's given you more faith. I hope now when you think about her, when you read Hebrews and James, just more comes to mind about her. That maybe you, if you're a female, can say, I'm going to have the faith of Rahab. I'm going to live it out. I'm going to look at moments where I can care about my family and consider how I can bring them also into the joy that I now profess, the hope that I now cling to.